everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I am going to differentiate between the different boards which are there in India on different levels, and hopefully this video will make you understand that which board is best for your child and your family. So keep watching. Are you confused about the board in which you want to send your child into? Well, if you are confused about ICSE, CBSE, IGCSE, IB and so on, then keep watching this video because I am going to tell a very detailed difference between each and every board, a very detailed study about what are the subjects that are taught under each board, and I hope that this video is going to help you out a lot. So remember one thing, that choosing a board depends on a lot of things. It's not only depending on the child or you as a parent, but also on where you are staying, what is your financial abilities and so on. So let's break down everything one by one in this video, and I hope that towards the end you will have a clear picture as to which board you want to send your child into, or which are the schools in your area where you have to actually go and inquire for the admissions. Talking about the kinds of boards that are in India, there are two types of board. The first one being the national board and the second one being the international board. So when I'm coming to the national board, we have something like CBSE, ICSE and also the state boards. And when we go to the international boards, we have Cambridge, which is IGCSE followed by A levels, and also we have IB, which have basically 4 programs: the primary year program, the middle year program, and also 2 different programs for the years which are coming after that. So let us discuss about all these boards and programs one by one. Starting with the first one, which is basically a state board. A state board is different for each and every state, like how the name suggests. UP will have its own state board, Kerala will have their own state board, Tamil Nadu will have their own state board. It's a very state driven learning program kind of thing. It's very easily available, the books are very easily available, but the assessments in these board are majorly based on year end examination. So it's like very simple or very traditional way of exams or teaching and so on. So I'm not going to go very deep into state boards in this video. The reason being that every state have different boards, and sadly I'll not be able to cover up what all each state will be doing specifically in their particular state for their boards. So in this video we are majorly going to concentrate on the other boards, that is CBSE, ICSE, then your IGCSE and IB. So there is also another thing called NIOS, about which I'll be making a very separate video, because when you are doing NIOS and when you are deciding your child to go into the homeschooling or that kind of thing, there's a lot of things that you need to know, and NIOS is very vast. So we'll have a totally separate video for that. Starting with ICSE. So ICSE board is a national board which is available in quite a lot of schools across India, and this is something where you get a lot of choices in subjects, about which we'll be discussing a lot in detail when we go to like each and every categories. So you have certain mandatory subjects like English and socials, and then you have choices where you can take math, science, or you can go for languages, you can go for commerce, business and so on. And also you have a third category or group C languages, subjects, where you can go for something like physical education or yoga and cookery and so on. So in ICSE, the assessment is done in both internal and external way. So it's like internally it's done for 80% and externally it is done for the rest 20%. Coming to the next board, that is CBSE. It's the most widely available board that is there in India. It's by NCERT and it suits a lot for people who have frequent transfers between cities in India. So why so, and why I'm saying that it's most favorable for such people, we'll be discussing again about that towards the end part of this video. So even CBSE, though it was very traditional, is also now trying to include a lot of modern teaching methodologies and modern subjects like AI and so on, to make sure that children are up to the time that is coming ahead of us. Coming to Cambridge, so we have something like a primary year program, and then we have the lower secondary or the middle school program, and they are known for Cambridge, which is basically an exam which happens after their 10th grade, and then it is followed by A levels. So here also you have different choices of subjects, again about which we will be speaking in detail later on. Coming to the IB, again, like how I told in the previous one, we also have a primary year program here, which is from early years goes up to the 5th grade. It's more of a transdisciplinary way of teaching where there are no set subjects but set areas, of learning. And then comes the middle year program, and then after that we have something known as the diploma level. This middle year program is something which is like interdisciplinary, and after that the diploma program is something like your 11th and 12th, after which you can directly go to any universities. So now let's start with a detailed study of all these boards, and let's split it across different categories, so that you understand that okay, this is how these boards are and which one is better compared to the other, and you'll be able to take a decision accordingly. So let's start with the first one, and that is the origin of these boards. So when I talk about origin of these boards, this means which country did these boards actually originate from. So as I told in the beginning that ICSE and CBSE is something which comes under the national boards. So the origin of ICSE and CBSE is India, and then when we go to the international board, we have IGCSE and IB. So IB is something which is originated in Switzerland, and your IGCSE syllabus is something which is a Cambridge, which is originated from UK. Second is the number of schools that are available at present in India. So when it comes to CBSE, it's the most widely available boards that are there in India, with more than 24,000 schools all across India. Second comes your ICSE, which have like currently 2,300 plus schools, which is like just 1/10 of what CBSE is having. So it's not very easy to get ICSE schools very near to your house, but you'll definitely find a lot of CBSE schools in your area. And the next which comes is your IGCSE or Cambridge, which is having like some around 400 plus schools, and the least one is IB, which is having like 150 something schools all across India, and it's very 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 tough to find. So if you're not from a metropolitan city, trust me, finding an IB school in your area will be like very rare. And even if you're in a metropolitan city, the IB schools are in like different parts, and sometimes it may not be even close to your house, so that may be out of your list. For this reason, if you see that you or your husband or anybody, you are someone who's from a transferable job, like a government job or anything where you have to keep on switching between cities again and again, in that case CBSE is the most suited one, because with 24,000 plus schools, you have a lot of options. So even if in between the year your child have to like stop and go to another city, it will not affect them much, because they are just changing between different schools of the same board. ICSE is the next suited one, though not a lot. If you are in a metro city, it becomes very easy. But if you are going to really rural or the non-metro cities, it may not be very easy for you. And then coming to IB and IGCSE, definitely no. If you have a transferable job and you don't know that whether you will be there in a metro city or not, but if you know that you are surely going to be in any of the metro cities, then again you can go for IB or IGCSE. Now let's talk about the language or the medium of study of these schools. CBSE is the only board that supports both Hindi and English language. It's a very easy to understand. I mean, if you are from CBSE board, or if you get your hands on any of the CBSE question papers, you will see that the same question will be written even in English and also in the Hindi format. This is because CBSE supports both Hindi and English medium of study. But when it comes to the other boards, that is ICSE, IB or IGCSE, it's only English that is the medium of study. Next, talking about the way of teaching or the way of learning in these schools. Starting with the first one, CBSE, it's very traditional. It's more of rote learning, where you learn the concepts by heart and then you have to spit it out during the exam and get the marks. So again, as I said, it all varies, between children to children. I mean, if maybe a child needs to explore more, he may explore more around that particular subject. But majorly, CBSE is all about, like rote learning. And when it comes to ICSE, IB and IGCSE, it's more of understanding the concepts and knowing the application of each. Now let's talk about the level of difficulty. That is, as a student, if you are there in these boards, in the schools from these boards, how difficult it is going to be in terms of learning, assignments, exams and so on. So when it comes to CBSE, it is the easiest or the one with the lowest difficulty levels. When it comes to ICSE, it's kind of more medium and or moderate, and when it comes to IB, it is like little difficult, and when it comes to IGCSE, it's like really hectic and tough. So I was studying in an ICSE school, and later on I continued with ICSE in 11th and 12th, which is known as ISE, and that owes a lot to the knowledge that I am having. So going forward, when I started exploring in different fields or anything, or my communication or the way I handle things and the kind of knowledge that I have, it's mainly because of the board or the school that I came from. So ICSE gives a very like a very deep knowledge understanding kind of thing, which is literally a little missing when it comes to board like CBSE. Let's talk about the expense or the average fees that is covered under these schools. So when you talk about the expense, the least is CBSE, and then comes ICSE, and then IB and IGSE comes after that. So the average fees of any CBSE schools in India varies from like 10,000, 15,000 to even 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs per annum. So that depends on the kind of school, the kind of facilities the school is having, and so on. So anybody who's from a family that cannot afford a lot to anybody who can afford a lot can still be a part of the CBSE board. That's the beauty of it. When it comes to ICSE, again it follows somewhat the same pattern of CBSE, but it's a little more higher than the CBSE board. But when it comes to an IB and IGCSE board, it is much higher, where it varies from like 2.5 lakhs goes up to 8 to 10 lakhs as well. Now let's talk about the mandatory subjects for 10th standard under these boards. So coming to the first CBSE, as I told in the beginning, that CBSE have both English and Hindi medium of study. So we have Hindi and English as the compulsory ones, and then you have the second language, then you have social science, and you have maths and science as well. Coming to the ICSE, we have something like English, which is the mandatory. We have the second language, and then we have HCG, that is history, civics and geography, and we have SUPW, which is socially useful productive work. And going to the next one, that is an IB board, we have something like an MYP, year long project. And when it comes to IB, there is basically no mandatory subject for 10th standard over there. Starting with the mandatory subjects for 12th, 11th and 12th standard under these boards, when we start with CBSE, we have English, Hindi, and then the streams that you are choosing. When you go to an ICSE school, we have English and SUPW. As I told, SUPW is socially useful productive work, which was already there in 10th standard. And then when it comes to an IB syllabus, we have basically a diploma core program. And then when it comes to Cambridge or IGCSE, we do not have any mandatory subject, but we have instead a list of 70 subjects in which you can choose whatever you want, about which again I'll be discussing later on. Now talking about the different streams that are available to choose under these boards. So starting with the first one, CBSE have the core subjects like you have science, you have commerce, you have humanities, and so on. Coming to ICSE, it's almost the same. You have science, you have humanities, you have commerce, but more and more importance is given to language. And then coming to an IB syllabus, you have like 6 groups, and from each group you can select like one subject and form your own group. And when it comes to like IGCSE syllabus, there is nothing, no mandatory and no particular groups. Instead, you have again the 70 list of subjects in which you can take whatever combination you want, and you can make your own group. So it's very flexible coming to forming the groups when it comes to an IGCSE syllabus. The next category is about how far is it aligned with like studies abroad or overseas program and so on. So when I talk about CBSE, it have very low adaptability, and when it comes to ICSE, it's like a moderate adaptability. When it comes to IGCSE and IB, it's very highly adaptable. This does not mean that children who have studied in CBSE cannot go abroad and study. This means that the alignment of boards, the way things are taught in IGCSE and IB syllabus, is in alignment with how it is taught overseas, and becomes much easier for the child for the transition. But when it comes to CBSE, it becomes very tough, and when it comes to ICSE, it's kind of a moderate thing. Now, If I'm talking about what these boards are best at, going forward or choosing a stream or going and, refining your career and so on. When it comes to CBSE, it's most suited for anything that is available in India. Like if you want to go for engineering entrance, medical entrance, law, and so on, that is there in India. It's very much suited. In fact, if you see any of the national level exams like JEE or whatever it is, it's all in alignment with the CBSE board and the NCRT syllabus. So it becomes very easy for children. When it comes to ICSE, also the same. But if you are looking for anything where you have to go abroad and you have to study, the best available boards that are there in India is definitely IB and IGCSE syllabus. So this was a video, a very generic video to differentiate between the local, the international and national boards that are available in India. As I told, I'll be making many more videos on the boards and education system that are available in India. But trust me, this video is not at all biased. I'm not going to tell you which board my child is going to. I'm not going to suggest you one board for yourself, because everything varies from family to family, city to city, your financial needs, your educational background, your requirements, your area, and so many other things. So choose accordingly. And as I told, every board comes with its own pros and cons. Every board have its own problems. If some of the board, they are really very creative in teaching things, maybe they are very expensive for you to afford, or maybe they are very far. So there are many other factors based on which your final decision should be coming up to. For example, the distance, how far it is from the house, how good the school is, how good the management is, how good the reviews are, and so on. So hope this video will give you a basic case study of how these boards are, and will give you a general outline ki which board I should go for and what board is having what kind of system. So if you liked my video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. We are going to hit another milestone on YouTube. And also in the comment section, let me know which board your child is going to, and tell me something positive about that board, so that other people also in the comment section can go through it and understand that why that particular board may be good for their child also. So thank you so much for watching this video. Bye bye.